because I don't believe in arguing about the past, I have no rebuttal for you.
Well, the screen's not recording, so there's no way to.
We are officially on.
We're on like Donkey Kong. Okay, so bringing it back.
Aimee is telling us all about who she's voting. Okay, if she was a complete criminal, complete degenerate, completely warped in her thinking, who she would vote for.
Yes. Obviously, I would vote for Kamala. Because look, especially like making abortion super accessible, let's say I'm a rapist. If I'm a rapist, I'm going to vote for the person that I want to allow abortion so that I can just go on raping women as much as I want. And
without child support? Is that the... Or unless...
I'm just saying in general.
You really did. We really did jump into this. The first stream that I guess didn't get recorded, or got recorded, didn't go up. She got into sex trafficking like right off the jump. And then this one, she's talking about rapists right off the jump. Okay, so you're saying if you're a rapist not wanting child support, not wanting a kid. But isn't you don't think there's a world where a rapist would want to populate the world?
Yeah, but I think it, like, just in general, like, you're more often than not, rapists are somebody that you're close to, somebody that you know. So a lot of these people, I think, would be a lot more reluctant to commit that crime if there was no way for them to easily abort a child, you know, to coerce someone or get someone to just get an abortion. So I think there would be far less likely. Not far less, but I think they would be less likely to do that. And it's the same thing with, like I said, like human trafficking or even drug trafficking. I think that I would vote for, obviously, Kamala because she is making it easy for people to get abortions. If I'm a mean, dark rapist,
okay,
that's who I'd vote for. So then, obviously, that's where my brain goes, like, I don't know, like, why would the motivation be there that way, you know? I don't know. So then that's where my decision making had come from also. So that was also on my For You page, you know, decided that, because I had seen that, like, if you were a human trafficker, if you're a rapist, if you're this, who would you vote for? And it was like, obviously Kamala. And then I was like, well, thinking in my own brain, I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly who I would vote for, because obviously Trump is going to make things harder. And if I'm a criminal, I want things to be easy. So obviously I am for making America great again.
Let's go. I had
not that we didn't start off bad, though. America. I'm not saying that at the very, very beginning America wasn't doing bad. But yes, you had a child. What?
Oh, I had a kid. So then I think the combination of having a kid and then the September debate had like disillusioned me of like, am I really going to vote based on this debate? So then I was still kind of like, I feel like if I was a boxer, I would have been kind of like staggered and like kind of dazed. And then a little bit of a daze. But Dave Ramsey, I think, had a great video talking about you're not voting for your pastor, you're not voting for a savior, you're not voting for this, you're not even voting for a brother-in-law or sister-in-law. Like that's not who you're voting for. Because like, and Dave Ramsey's perspective was you are not like we don't have to hold people to, we don't have to hold the president to a certain standard of morality that we
hold a pastor to.
Hold a pastor to, a savior to, or even a brother-in-law or sister-in-law.
Yeah, the person marrying your sibling to.
Yeah. So then, anyway, all that to say, he said, okay, but what are the issues you care about most? And then which candidate most aligns with the issues you care about most? But, okay, look at you. I felt like you would root for the right side. So then, do you know if Mom voted? We're all exposing her on.
I do not know if Mom voted, but I know that her and potentially another family member decided amongst themselves that they were going to cancel each other's votes out. And
wait, Mom told me that. So then did she also make the deal with somebody else to try to like cancel more?
I wasn't gonna say which family member for to not expose her, but yeah.
Got you. Okay, so let me straighten this thing out because I saw that. Okay, then so we have that. Okay, so we have the election. Do you have any news on the election?
So as of right now, let's see who's winning.
Did you see that? Do you mess with Joe Rogan? Do you like follow Joe Rogan at all or no?
I see a lot of his podcast stuff because I do like when it pops up on my For You page, I stop and watch him.
Yeah, it was so some people argue he might be one of the most like top 3 most influential people like in the U.S. And so even like Andrew Schultz, another comedian, was like probably Rogan, Kim Kardashian, and Donald Trump might be the most influential people in the U.S. It's interesting observation. I don't know. Again, how do you quantify that? I'm not really sure, but no doubt millions and millions of people, when you listen to him and watch him, and he finally endorsed Trump on Monday, which was
finally, like he had been teeter-tottering.
Well, he interviewed him. He interviewed J.D. Vance, and he is a lifelong Democrat, and people, and even Trump asked him if he was going to vote for him, and he didn't. Rogan didn't say, "Hey, here on the pod, I'm gonna back you." He didn't say no. He didn't say yes. He didn't. He just let Trump ask him, but he didn't really go into it. So anyway, I thought that was pretty significant. And maybe we get into some of the statistics. So one of the statistics I was kind of laughing about, which was with Gen Z men, there seems to be a significant movement with your generation with men who are becoming more and more
feminine,
conservative. Actually.
Oh, I was like,
dang, shots fired.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, one, of course,
probably because of like Andrew Tate, right?
So I guess I was curious what you observed, maybe high school, college, maybe even some of your work environment. Do you think you worked with a number of Gen Z men?
Yeah, actually, plenty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then how would you account for this movement with men? Like the youth seem to really gravitate previously to the Democratic side, the liberal side, and now they're like, nah, we ain't with y'all no more. We moving to the other side. So I'm curious if you have any anecdotal perspective as a Gen Zer yourself. You've worked with them, you've gone to school with them, you've gone to college with them. You are a sister to one of those men, and I was curious what your perspective is about that.
Man, it's hard to say. Like, okay, when we're talking conservative, what are we thinking? Like, they're more conservative with the women. They're more conservative with
Republican. So if you take, I suppose.
Oh, like politically, more politically conservative. Oh, okay. Well, Oh, it's hard to say. I don't know if I've really noticed too much of that. Like, I guess, yeah, like, for the most part, people do, like growing up, and stuff like that, and, like, as an adult, working with a lot of guys, I think it's hard to say that they were, like, more on the conservative side, but I guess I didn't really talk politics. That wasn't like a topic of conversation, especially because as a server, I was a server for years, so it's like I didn't really want to talk politics. And if somebody did talk politics, I was always talking to a baby boomer or something, so it was always like, say whatever I had to say to get the tip.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So then you have that. Okay. So then here's the question. So my generation, I would say we were almost raised with this perspective of, hey, don't talk about money, which might be how much you make or making or something like that. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. Have you seen a similar, like, maybe I'll call it a low-key philosophy in like avoiding like those controversial topics?
I don't think so. I think, especially like if somebody does make, oh man, I don't feel like, I guess, okay, I'm married, right? So it's different. But also, like, Jeremy has really funny, like, opinions about things. Like, because obviously him and I are like the exact same age, so he's obviously my generation. But it's like Jeremy's opinion on things sometimes. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about your opinion on that. Like, Jeremy's super like, I don't know. Sometimes when he talks, I think that he doesn't like a lot of women. Like, I feel like he hates women.
My husband does not like women.
I did not like that, but like, so like I guess he throws shade like a lot. He's like, man, girls all like, I guess I don't know what side of TikTok he's on, but he's always like, women take everything in the case of a divorce. Men get screwed left and right. Men have to,
Hey, he's real red pilled. Okay.
So I'm like,
so we know who he's voting for.
and then he's like, women are, whatever. So, I tell him like, why are you so like upset? He's like, all women do is get with men for their money. I'm like, where's your money? Like, I'm not with you for your money. Like, I'm chilling, and then he's like, yeah, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like in general, all the women. And I'm like, I feel like I've just heard so many like people from my generation nowadays who are super like, oh, all women care about is money. All women are shallow. Like,
okay, yeah, all of this speaks very much to the issues of Gen Z men moving on to the other side. So yeah.
So it's a lot of like that. Like, they really don't. I don't know. And like, I don't know. I don't ever feel like I met princess men. That's what like I feel like men who want to be treated and like, I don't think I've met like men like that too often.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it might take away like for something like if you so like I remember one time like I was like hanging out with someone and I felt like, oh, I don't want someone to think, I guess because I'm like in that generation, I was like, oh, I don't want someone to think that I'm like taking advantage. So then like secretly like I paid the bill and I'm like, okay, well maybe, and then after that it was kind of like things didn't work out. So then I was like, oh, maybe that was a bad idea. Like maybe not letting a guy pay for my meal or whatever, secretly paying for myself or whatever. And it's like sometimes I just did it because I didn't want people to automatically think I was some kind of gold digger. But it's like, I don't know.
Do you think you will raise, as you think about your sons, and we contextualize it for our kids, there's going to be, as you think about maybe the political versus liberal, the Republican, Democrat, there is... So when I listen to you, I guess I hear a number of conservative values, and there's, I think you have these different Christian roots. Again, they might not be like, hey, Bible, book, chapter, verse, but you will maybe reference, different concepts and like have a conservative outlook on a number of things. Do you see yourself raising your sons with these maybe typical conservative values?
Yeah.
And if so, which ones kind of stand out to you? Again, assuming your sons are one day listening to this, what are some of those values you really want to intentionally impress upon them?
Yeah. So obviously I want to raise gentlemen. I want my sons to grow up and I want them to be gentlemen. I want them to open the door for their significant other. I want them to, be polite and stuff like that. But I know like Jeremy's on the other, like Jeremy's also on the side of like, don't do that for every single woman. Not just like, obviously hold the door open for a woman walking in or, be nice to women in general, but just to people in general. You hold the door open for anybody coming in behind you. But like, aside from that, like, if you decide you're going to take somebody out, like if you're going to take someone to a dance, you buy them flowers, you take them out to eat, you pay, you do all these things. And Jeremy would probably be more on the side of like, but don't do that for just any girl. You don't want to be out here just throwing money away on a girl who, has you like who thinks that you're just like an ATM, who when they're hungry they just give you a call and you go take them out to eat. Like you don't want to do, and I know that that's more like how Jeremy is, and I feel like I'm that way too. Like you don't just want to do that for every single girl and then all of a sudden you're just like not that important because you're doing it for too many people. I think it's important to like assess the value, and I know that sounds crazy too, but like assess the value of the woman you're spending money on, because money is a big deal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
Yes. So then do you see yourself having more traditional gender norms in regard to how they operate in the household? In the context of your son and his partner, his spouse,
Yeah.
his wife?
Yeah. I'd assume so. But like I think we've talked about it before too, like having one person be like mostly in charge of those kinds of things is important too, but being okay with like assigning that to your partner, like Jeremy and I, like Jeremy gives me all his money and I figure out what, how we're going to pay things and do stuff because he knows that I manage our money better. So I think, does that make me feel like he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing? No, it's just he knows that I'm more financially educated or financially savvy.
Yeah, equipped or financially skilled, yeah.
So he lets me handle that. So, but I think it would be the same thing. I think it's completely fair to assume that if my sons are not able to do that, one, that they pick somebody who is and who's not going to go and shop and buy all kinds of crazy things, which if you listen to my previous podcast, you will know could all be avoided if you run a credit check on your partner before you get married.
Yes. Got it. Okay. I think those are some of the things I was curious about for you on the first issue on men moving over in your generation to the conservative side.
So, did you vote today?
No, the point I was trying to get to, I think, was the idea that had the baby August 28th. The debate happened the first week of September. Disillusioned, dazed, kind of staggering. Then I was like, am I going to vote? Like these two, I think I walked away from that debate going, hey, these two, they're like two clowns. Which clown do we want to put in charge or whatever? But Dave Ramsey's concept of, hey, which issues matter to you the most? Hey, line those issues up. Is it left? Is it right? Is it Republican, Democrat? Which side is it? And then so most of the issues that when I listed those out, they are on the Republican side. So I was like, okay, cool. So then, but by the time that video, I think I saw that video by Dave Ramsey that was really moved me. It was past whatever October 6th to get registered. So did not. But I am rooting. I'm rooting for that on the Republican side. Yeah. But I think I get it's wild for me to see people who I guess use the nouns of I am Democrat or I am Republican. I think identity words are always like maybe uneasy or uncomfortable because it's almost like I guess the idea of somebody boxing themselves into an ideology and they may not fully accept. So it's kind of like, is there value in fully just adopting one identity on the side of it? So I don't know if I'll ever be like, I am Republican as opposed to I happen to side with them on more of the issues than on the Democratic side. So, but my commitment here is that I won't miss voting in an election for the rest of my life. My commitment.
Do you have to like register to vote several times?
I think it's just once.
For your whole life?
I think.
I don't think so. I know I've registered in the past, and I think I was asked again.
Oh, okay. Where would you register? When you get your license?
I know that when I get my health insurance, they are like when I get letters from health insurance, or you just get letters in the mail also. Yes.
Okay. Your issue on the millennial side.
On the millennial side. So, millennials and just in general, millennials are now recognizing more mental health issues. So, like, I would guess, like, bipolar, ADHD, autism, those are all mental health disorders. So, they say that 1 in 5 millennials have been diagnosed with a medical health condition and are being more proactive about it. Do you feel like you are on that side? Do you feel like you see like a lot more parents, especially like your age, who are more accepting and more like willing to get help for their kids and stuff like that? Or even for themselves as adults? Like, are there more adults that are willing to go to therapy, willing to do those kinds of things?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. There are conversations I have with friends who have gone to therapy, or I guess the cool thing about the movement on the mental health side is it's in the language, right? Like, oh, like somebody will talk about like feeling depressed or feeling anxious or maybe feeling a little obsessive about something that they're doing. And then so like the language of discussing kind of their mental thoughts, their emotional thoughts, is very it's probably more relevant than ever. So in my small sample size of friends and people, I think there are people that are well versed with the mental health lingo, and I think that raises awareness of what these things that kind of come up, people talk about.
Yeah. They say so, like even like 1 in 5. So that's like what, 20%?
Yeah.
20% of all millennials are diagnosed with something. Like sounds like a high percentage. Like, if you have 10 friends, that's like 2 of them.
Yeah. Yes. Which I think the diagnoses are interesting. So I know you've been through a process. I don't know how much you've talked about it or how much you want to talk about it. I've been through a process. I haven't talked about it, but I think I'm cool talking about it. Because part of it is I'm like it's like interesting to think about, like, what does it mean? Does it mean anything? Does it mean Does it mean everything? So like I often would think about like through a 5-point scale, like, and this is for, we're thinking about our kids, and all of this is, if my kid went to be diagnosed and within 10 minutes they gave him a diagnosis, like, and he told me about it, I'd be like, like, you might want to get a second or third opinion before you go forward with that. But because I've had a therapist that I've gone to regularly. We've had conversations, and like I've had everything from, hey, once a week or once every other week or once a month or something, like some kind of rhythm on that. I've done that stuff. And then I was wondering if I had some OCD, because there are different obsessive and compulsive things that I would do. Not like to the point that you read about, like locking the door 1,000 times or washing your hand 1,000,000 times, but other things where I can become extra obsessive. But I remember going and I was explaining kind of like my rhythm of life, and then he was like, okay, I'm ready. He pretty much first 10 minutes he was ready with the bipolar diagnosis. It was bipolar mix, which it was, and he was saying the mixture is between, I guess the fancy word is oscillating between depressed and a high, and like what those behaviors look like. So like that's it was a shocker to get any kind of diagnosis. And then like, even did I have a stigma toward like a bipolar diagnosis? And then how regular is this? Even like for me as a person of faith, when I read stories in the Bible and I'm like, okay, like that character looked kind of bipolar. If you look at how happy he was over here, how sad he was over there. Like you have the story of David, or the story of Abraham, or the story of like there's weeping at weird moments that even when I read, I'm like, there's a story of Jacob meeting Rachel, and she was so beautiful he began to weep. I'm like, what are you like? What are you doing? Like,
it's not that serious, buddy.
Yeah.
Get off the ground.
Like, I didn't weep when I thought Angelita. Like, is something wrong with me? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but there are, especially the cool thing about even the book of Psalms, it's, a number of them written by King David, and you see like maybe his depressive episode. Somebody might categorize it as like him talking about like, hey, I've been evil my whole life. I've been evil from birth. And he's talking about how dark it is and how wrong he is. But then you look at another psalm, same author, but he's talking about, oh man, like God's been blessing me according to how righteous I've been. He's talking about how good he is. And it's like, but it's more like, it seems to be like a human going through life, peaks and valleys. Anyway, all I had to say is, so I technically have a diagnosis on my record, but I don't know if there is substantial value in the diagnosis.
Yeah. I think about that too. Yeah, I don't know if I believe the psychologist that I saw. Because she only talked to me for a few minutes too. Well, I guess I saw her a couple of times. But every time I saw her, she says, well, you need to stop doing what you're doing if you want things to change. And I would just be like this. You're supposed to kind of try to talk me out of it. I feel like this, just telling me to stop and then assigning me medication, assuming this medication is going to make me stop. Like, I feel like I need some convincing. So that didn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was told that I was bipolar as well.
And then, so your mix or your two, did they explain like which two like you go to or whatever? Or did they talk about that at all?
No, she just told me, she said, you definitely seem like you're probably bipolar. Or she said, I'm going to write you this prescription and you let me know if things feel different.
Right.
I was like,
And when I went in.
And then she told me some scary stories about people who, I don't know, drank all the time or whatever to scare me out of drinking all the time. And I was like this. Ooh.
In your brain or out loud?
No, definitely in my brain because she was mean. I was like, oh, I'm not, this is not for me.
Right. And I think I wrestled with, there's so much context with my story and things that were happening in my life, in my church, in my family, and all these things that have happened. So it's like, if you've been exposed to enough trauma and then you're like working on self and you realize, and then, so I think what I was wrestling with too, I was like, when I was like assessing effectiveness is an interesting one because he was talking about like bipolar people can be extra successful. They get to accomplish many things. And then some of the things he was talking about that he broke down, which I found fascinating, don't know how to categorize it, but he said certain behaviors that bipolar people with this mixed version of it, they do is they will buy like every shirt that they'll go to the store. They won't buy one shirt. They'll buy all 8 of the colors. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of do that. And I've done that at different phases. Or I will buy a certain number of glass Tupperware for my food, and I'll like go all in pretty, and outside looking in looks extreme. And he was explaining that that's done at more of a higher state as opposed to the mixed state on the depressed side. So that is interesting. I don't typically do stuff like that on the depressed side. But people without protective factors that have this, he was saying that people they gamble excessively and can blow all of their money, take out another mortgage and lose that money and all of these things. But if you have protective factors, it doesn't necessarily look like that.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So if we contextualize it with our sons and maybe as opposed to jumping in, we got a bot.
I was like, are we going to talk about the bot or no?
As opposed to just jumping in and like getting immediately adopting and grabbing onto a diagnosis that a psychiatrist provides, I think I would have some hesitation about it.
Yeah, I have definite hesitation. Especially like at that point in time, there was like a bunch of deaths and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it was like, really? I'm just going to do me. Plus, like, I mean, I do think at some point, plus I think there's a difference between like a psychiatrist or psychiatrist and like a therapist or a counselor. I think those are all different things. So I'm thinking this psychiatrist was not in the business of listening to my problems. She was more in the business of solving my chemical imbalances.
Right.
And I don't think that, I think I can work through my own problems, which maybe that's presumptuous. I don't know. I think I can work through my own problems or like figure them out. Sometimes I just need to bounce ideas off of someone. You know.
Yes. And interesting, this is also one of the statistics I had looked up on the Gen Z side is Gen Zs are so immersed in mental health. The data, according to ChatGPT, said that Gen Z professionals take off 54 days a year from their job, meaning over one time a week. You could just say one time a week. You're talking about 52 weeks. But one day a week is like a mental health day for your generation. So any perspective on your generation going through that?
Oh, I did that all through school. Let's see. That we're even just that don't work in mental health, they're just regular workers.
Yeah. Should I read it? What it said?
Yeah.
And while I read that, where would you go to check to see the status of the election?
I would just look it up.
Okay, this is in the UK. In the UK, employees lose an average of 54 productive days annually due to mental health issues, equating to one workday per week. The loss in productivity cost the UK economy over $178 billion.
That sounds like a bunch of wah, wah, wah. Just kidding. That's crazy.
In the US, only about half of Gen Z individuals rate their mental health as good or extremely good, with 40% feeling stressed all or most of the time.
I think a little stress is good, but do I feel stressed all or most of the time? No. Actually, you know what's stressing? My back is stressing from carrying around this child all day. But other than that, I'm good. I think I'm good. Or very good.
All right, should we have an election check-in?
Yeah, let's see.
Who do you trust? Are you going to go to like a website, or what are you going to do?
Oh, I just was gonna look it up. I will look.
I know. I'm asking you, what source would you go to?
DuckDuckGo.
I don't know if you're serious or not. Is that?
Yeah, it's real. Election update. Yeah, because it's supposed to like protect you from getting like spam and stuff. Let's see. News for election updates. Nope. Election updates live. Ooh. PBS.org.
What's the status?
I'm looking. Let's see. No, I don't know. DuckDuckGo doesn't leave me wrong, so. Oh, look, go to YouTube.
Wait, so you're gonna watch a whole video? I don't understand what you're
the
doing.
live streams on YouTube.
I know. So you're gonna click on a video?
Well, I'm sure would just show a tally. No, I don't know how that works, Derek.
I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing. I'm trying to see if anything on my Twitter feed is telling me about.
Okay, so it says right here. I'm trying to look. It's not letting me look. It's looking more red than blue at this point. I feel like, are things really going to change? Like, if your parents keep raising you to believe certain things, like, okay, so Texas is always red, right? Like, and if we keep currently 99-27 red.
Break that down. What does that even mean? But we will celebrate that. And where's your source be, Rye?
Your source. What is it? That's what it's like. I could see it on the thing, but it wasn't showing that well, so I couldn't, like, it was like really tiny. 95-35. That's what it says on mine. Over here on the live one.
So 95 what? What is it?
I think out of the total,
Oh, that's.
like the total of states that are locked in. I don't know what that means.
So are you going to wear your MAGA hat next?
I'm not. MSNBC Live TV. No, because I don't want grandma to beat me up. And more than likely, grandma doesn't watch our pod. So she's probably not going to beat me up because she's not going to know because I'm not going to tell her, Derek. Are you going to tell her?
Am I going to wear a red hat next time?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I going to tell her who I'm rooting for?
Yeah. Are you going to tell her who I'm rooting for? Are you going to expose me in the family group chat?
First of all, I'm the one that put MAGA hats on everybody's head. So I feel like it's very clear.
You know that it was not very clear, right? Because I talked to Mom about it later and I said, well, because Derek, is more for Trump. And she said, what? Since when? I said, well, he sent all of the things. He's always talking about it. She says, he's just playing. And I was like, Mom, he's not just playing. She's like, nah, he's just playing. He's probably just playing about that. I don't think he's really for Trump.
Yeah. I'm representing. Come on. And
I was like, I don't know, Mom. I don't think you watch our pods enough. I don't think you're paying attention. So that's what I told her.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, that's the status with that. All right, so then you're talking about mental health. Anything else on mental health? Any other thoughts for your children about mental health?
Do you think that? I don't know if you think this, but do you think the food dye really plays a part in the mental health challenges?
Does it play any part?
Oh, well, like a big part. They say like red 40 causes autism.
Do you avoid it? No?
Not for myself.
No.
Sorry, Kylo.
For your kid? For
I try.
That means no.
Yeah. If I can, if I can opt to get like the Trader Joe's brand or whatever of the Takis or whatever. Or if I can get different soda that's not Big Red that tastes like Big Red, then I will.
For Khalil?
For myself. Oh, and okay. I share everything with him.
And then, how did y'all do candy for him?
Oh, Jeremy and I ate it all. No, we gave him some.
Wait, so how soon did y'all eat it?
It's all gone now.
Yeah, but this is a whole 5 days away. But
okay, so it was gone probably within the first 3 days.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was Khalil? Did he ask for it every day? Because this morning he was asking Mom for candy.
Candy
for breakfast.
Yeah, it's because I guess the more we would continue to feed him the candy, the more he was kind of like, hey, that bucket has candy in it.
Which could you tell his favorites?
Yeah, for sure. Reese's, his top favorite.
Peanut butter cups?
Yeah, Reese's peanut butter cups. His number one. He loves them. How
does it feel watching him? Is it kind of really exciting to watch him love something so much, or is it kind of scary because he loves it so much? What is the parental feeling of watching your kid eat candy like?
Jeremy and I, especially depending on the size of them, we'll give him little pieces, but if we give him a little piece and then we set it down and then we're not paying attention, if he comes and grabs it, he'll shove it all in his mouth all at once, and that's kind of hey, chill out, buddy.
Yeah.
That scares me. And then when he sees that we're upset that he's doing it, he starts laughing, which then I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to choke. Because if he's laughing when he has food in his mouth, he's more likely to aspirate.
But does his happiness concern you? Because does his happiness in eating the candy, is that concerning?
No, I don't think he's overly super happy. I think he's just satisfied. But he is demanding when he wants it again. Which is he's content, happy when he has it, and he's yay, good. But then when he sees it later on, he's like, give me the candy now. And I'm like this, I don't know who you're yelling at, young man, but I'm not giving you the candy. And then he's like, well, then I'm just going to throw myself backwards straight off the bed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. I find myself wondering how we're going to be, if we're going to be like the really minimum sugar people.
Yeah.
Which I could see that happening. But
I could see that.
Yeah.
Happening for you over there.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Got it.
Some sugars are good, you know. I give him berries and stuff.
Mm.
But I don't let him overdo it on the berries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I see some parents who are like, oh, we're at the berries stage and I'm buying berries every day. And I'm like, just stop.
Ooh, have you ever messed with a
Stop
food
doing that.
vacuum sealer?
No.
I got one
For what?
to seal my food, and from a vacuum.
For it to last longer?
Yeah, so you can vacuum seal it. So I guess the air that that the food is exposed to is what causes and then also the temperature of your refrigerator or your freezer can prolong the life of it. But yeah, it could last for years. So I have like 18 plus meals frozen that I cooked in my freezer right now. Probably like 24 meals actually.
Oh, you're going to have to show me that because I definitely want to do something so that Jeremy can have food longer over there in college.
Yeah. So eventually,
That's like,
I can see myself putting fruit there because fruit can go bad, can get spoiled so fast. But if you vacuum seal it, it can last longer and freeze it.
yeah, I've always wanted to do, I wanted to get a freeze dryer where you freeze dry the food. It's like on the,
Like candy.
there is some freeze dried candy, yeah.
But which one? What do you want to freeze dry?
No, so like you can freeze dry breast milk and it lasts like 30 years. And it's powder. So then you just use the powder and then you put water and then it's breast milk.
Oh.
So I've looked into that. And then you can, do it for other people too. So then you freeze dry that. And you can do like spaghetti and meatballs and like all kinds of meals freeze dried and stored away. And it lasts like, forever.
Indeed. Appreciate it, Rodney. Mr. Grateful himself. That's one of my friends. He cannot go in a conversation. He probably can't go for like 10 seconds without saying thank you. So thank you. Thank you, brother. Long time no see.
What? But yeah.
What? Oh, yeah. He's one of those guys like you could be talking and then he's like, oh, man, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for, like having a conversation. So real smooth guy, down to earth, but really uplifting. So I called him like Mr. Thankful, Mr. Grateful. Yeah.
Snaps.
Yep. That water.
Hopefully that
Omar.
Hopefully that water will be sans fluoride soon.
Oh yeah, that's a RFK. That's a Republican thought because RFK is condemning some of the fluoride in the water. I think there's some studies that suggest that fluoride leads to a drop in IQ. Tell me if I got that right, Omar.
Yeah, Jeremy and I have made it a point. Well, we had made it a point to always only drink alkaline water.
Wait, since when?
For a long time. Well, I'm saying just not only, but like at home to like use alkaline water for all of our stuff. So we get it in like the 5 gallons and we go to the alkaline place once a week, and fill up our 2 gallons, stuff like that.
Making a difference?
Well, I mean, since Jeremy's been gone, I'm not going to carry that thing inside.
Yeah.
So it's just been, once I ran out of the last 2 gallons, it was like,
Well, you just realize how what you said sounds like completely like the first version that came out was this is the only thing we do.
Well, we did it for months and months, so yeah, that's what we did for the longest time. But But and we're gonna continue to do it. And I told Jeremy,
And your belief on the value of that is what?
I think it makes a difference. I think that the water tastes better. Like it doesn't make me as like thirsty. Like I feel like sometimes I drink bottles of water and it makes me want more bottles of water. So I think when the water's more alkaline, it's quenches my thirst more, and it makes me feel like better.
Yeah,
I think it did make a difference. Just in general, as far as that goes, like my skin was fine, which I don't think anything's wrong with my skin now, but it was probably better for the baby back then.
Okay.
Maybe that's why this baby's getting bigger, because I drank the alkaline water for the majority of the months of this pregnancy.
Okay. I guess I won't debate you there. Alkaline water. So you just get that from like a stand?
The alkaline store?
Oh, okay.
Alkaline. There's an alkaline place. It's called Alkaline
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
Alkaline 280 or something.
Okay.
Alkaline 210.
All right. So we had mental health. Anything else on mental health?
Nope.
All right. Next up, your issue or my issue?
Up to you. Oh, wait, it's you. Wait, what are we talking about?
Financial instability for Gen Z.
I was looking at financial challenges for millennials.
Many Gen Z individuals are rejecting job opportunities due to high commuting costs and expense of professional attire, creating a cycle where financial constraints and mental health issues exacerbate each other. What have you seen there? Do the people that you graduated high school with, do you say like, is the general consensus like, oh wow, they're doing really well, or oh they're not doing well, or
I do feel like a lot of people are doing well, but based off of social media, so I'm going to just reel that in and say probably a lot of times people are not doing as well as it seems.
You want to read Omar's comments?
Yes. Actually, federal court judge decided levels were too high to mandate fluoride anymore. RFK plans to follow up on that.
That's one of the big deciding factors. Like the Avenger team on the Republican side is pretty like inspiring and motivating. You feel like you're not just getting Trump, you're getting RFK, Vivek, Tulsi. You're getting the whole team over there. So
Well,
so how do you feel about Maha, Make America Healthy Again?
all for it. Definitely for it.
Wait, so then your hesitation to want to tell grandma about your affiliation or your...
Because grandma doesn't listen. She doesn't want to hear anything.
Yeah, I feel like you just digging your own grave.
Me and grandma, we're chilling, I guess. She's never going to watch it.
You don't know what she watches.
I guess I don't, really. She could watch it. I'm talking about my other grandma.
You already talked about her last week. And we've already established that when Bob has a problem with everybody, Bob is usually the problem, Aimee.
Whatever.
What advice would you give your kids about navigating in-law relationships?
I think they need to pick, they need to, I don't know.
What I'm hearing from you in your brain is this, understand, and it's a marriage principle, understand when you marry your girlfriend, like when you're thinking about marrying your girlfriend, you are marrying her mom, her dad, you're marrying a family, and that family is going to be around you considerably unless there's significant relationship damage caused. So choose wisely.
Yeah, that's kind of where my brain was going. But then I also kind of thought like, this child is bumping up against the table every time I get close. So, But then I was thinking, really, in all actuality, I still love Jeremy, no matter what, whether I like his family or not, and he still loves me whether he likes my family or not. The truth is out there somewhere.
So your advice to your kids is that you can love the spouse even if they hate their in-laws.
I mean, as long as they're not putting like significant influence on your significant other, because I've seen some where it's like, obviously, I read a lot of Reddits. I watch a lot of Reddit videos. So I had seen, I think I watched one where they were talking about, like a guy was talking about how his significant other, she lived with her parents and they were super controlling. They were always taking her money. They were always like, being manipulative towards her. Anytime he tried to push back about her family, they would convince her that he's toxic and that she needs to leave him and all these things, and it would cause problems in their relationship. So I think unless there's like significant influence from family, then it really doesn't matter that much. But even with Jeremy and I, so I don't know if we've talked about it before, but like I feel like Jeremy does have influence. I think everybody does. Everybody has influence from their family, but some influence is different than like ultimate towering over everything influence. And I do feel like because I am the kind of person to like argue my side and like say why I feel things, Jeremy's more likely to listen to me, which is great because I mean it's our life, not his life with anybody else.
Then what will... Okay, then the question is, if you're a mother-in-law, as a mother-in-law, how do you navigate not being a monster-in-law?
Letting my boys make their own decisions.
Okay, now do you give how much are you giving opinions? Yeah. Because it's really, they make the decision, but it's more of how you are influencing.
I think I would try to get on her side. Yeah. Try to understand her side. And if I have opinions, let her know directly rather than through my son. Because if my son doesn't understand or know the way that I feel about something already, then I don't want to, like I said, like I don't want to be convincing him to do something against his partner when it's my ideology and not his. Like if he doesn't think the way that I think, he's not going to have the backing that I have in my mind. Like if the same thing, like, if Jeremy has an opinion from his mom and he comes and he tells me like, oh, well, I think we should do this. And then I'm like, why? And then he has no backing other than, well, because my mom said it. Then I'm like, well, I have all these other reasons that I think we should do it this way. I would prefer her to just come and talk to me so that I can genuinely hear her out and hear why she wants to do things that way, rather than her trying to go through him and me just like completely vetoing it.
That's a good tip.
We'll just slide that over there.
That's a good tip. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So as a mother-in-law, I think that's what I'm going to try to do. But if my daughter-in-law is watching this and I'm being a brat, maybe you need to let me know to come back and watch this video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Because you see your persona having opinions about matters, and then it's sometimes I wonder if there is a value, especially if you're somebody who's quick to arrive at opinions or perspectives, then how well can that person hold on to their opinion without expressing it? That's what I wonder sometimes in the in-law situation. Yeah. Because it seems as though and you could understand that in-law, let's say it's Khalil, his spouse, and then you're like, oh, I want him to know this. I want her to know this. And you're like, oh, if I don't tell them, what if they don't know? And what if they don't know? Like, let's say we certainly don't have to get into the details of our kids on the circumcision side, but just it's one example that popped
Yeah.
into my brain. Like, let's say if she was like strongly, what if you were strongly believed in one way or the other, circumcision, and then circumcision, you had nurse friends, and nurse friends were talking about how many urinary tract infections that they had for people who aren't circumcised, and you wanted her to know, but it's a touchy issue. You share your opinion? Do you let her not? Do you let her go astray? What do you do in those settings? And it's like choosing which opinions should be shared in the context of somebody else's life, in the context of the person you love the most, which is, your kids. When do you actually choose to share the opinion is pretty key.
Yeah. Yep.
Got it.
So I think it is important.
Indeed. All right. Shall we do a check-in? All right. If you're watching and if you're keeping check on the election, let us know what you're seeing.
It's 71-101 right now.
Were you going for that?
I am on YouTube Live, but for AP.
Associated
AP.
Press? I guess if you just go to a news website, then it'll tell you. Is that?
That's what I thought too, but it didn't work. Let's see. Yep, 270.
Okay, so on Fox it says 111.72. I guess I'll go to CNN as well to have some.
But yep, that's where we're at right now. Yeah.
Yeah, CNN is a little bit harder to figure out what's. Oh, there it goes. Oh, CNN side is interesting. It says 105-27.
Oh. They're probably, I don't know. So once it turns a solid red, that means it's done for.
Oh, it's 270.
Yeah, 270.
Wait, so you said solid red? What's solid red?
Well, because it says leading and then win, and then leading and then win.
Oh,
so if it's
show me what you're showing over there.
So if it's like a light blue, it's leading. But if it's a dark blue, it says win.
Oh.
And then light red is leading.
Right. Oh, but you were saying the whole country being one color?
No.
Right.
Like the whole state. Sorry.
Okay, got it.
If it turns win, does that mean it's automatically won?
That's what I'm assuming.
So
you didn't place any bets? There's betting is more relevant than ever, and like people are betting on the election. So you didn't put any money on either candidate?
I don't bet, Derek.
You've never?
No, I'm not a gambler.
Not even like a casual fun bet, like, oh.
I do. I play solitaire for money.
For money?
Yeah.
How is that?
I don't know. I just play against a bunch of other people, and whoever comes out first wins the money.
Online?
Yeah. Whoever completes the puzzle the fastest.
Puzzle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But
So
I don't think that's the same thing.
I guess you can lose money. No.
Yeah, you can. But I've never put money in.
Oh.
But I could pull money out because I've won more money.
You could pull money
so
out
it
without
gives
even
you
playing?
like it gives you like a free.
Oh, use the free.
Like a free game.
Yeah.
And if you win, then you get actual money.
Oh, cool.
So
have you pulled money out?
Like $13.
Oh.
But that's a profit. I've made money where there was no money before.
Indeed.
I told Jeremy because Jeremy does the, I don't know, what are the sports bet apps? I don't know.
Yeah, those.
He does one of those, and I told him, I'm like, well, I don't really like that. I don't like that kind of betting because I feel like it just leads to losing.
Indeed.
And then recently Jeremy won 4 times in a row, and then all of a sudden he was all, I'm the best. I know everything. And guess what? He lost all his money.
Dang, why are you blasting him like this?
That's what he gets. I told him he shouldn't have done that. Every single day, Derek, he says, I'm going to bet today. I'm going to bet today. And then I said, well, maybe you should stop because you're losing now. And then he's like, no, this time it's going to turn around. I said, no, it's not. Now he's at $0. I said, don't put any more money in there.
Hey, who's your dad voting for?
I don't think he's not. Can you vote?
As a citizen?
He's not a citizen. He's a permanent resident.
Oh. Is that, I thought when you get married, you become one. No?
I don't know, but I don't think he's a United States citizen.
So you're saying people but not born here, they can't vote? That has to be wrong.
Well, then that's even more reason why we don't want Kamala to win.
But who, do you have any idea who you think he would vote for?
Probably Kamala.
Okay.
Just because he doesn't like Trump.
Mm.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really know. He's not really like versed in like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would vote at all. Maybe he would vote for Trump. Yeah.
Got it. All right, next issue. What you got?
Next issue. Decline in alcohol consumption. Da-na-na.
Less millennials?
Millennials are drinking less alcohol compared to previous generations. 30% of millennials report drinking less than they did a few years ago, and they drink less than the generation before them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
My anecdotal evidence of the people, there were a number of guys that I would hang out with that we would hang out. We would do like late night basketball or video games. Were you around? You were around back then?
Probably.
But no memories. It's hard to imagine like where you were, like in the house, because sometimes.
At our house, yeah. I remember y'all hanging out all the time at our house.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you meant like when you were out at college. I was like, I don't think I ever went with you anywhere.
No, yeah, at our house, as far as having a lot of guys over.
Yeah, I was there.
But like, there was a whole group of us that were like, yeah, drinking really wasn't what we were doing.
Yeah, I remember we used to play hide and seek in the dark.
What? Does that connect that to what we're talking about?
Yeah, well, when there was a bunch of us there.
Wait, our age difference is what? So I was 18. How you were born in what year? 2015. You were 3. So what I'm talking about cannot be what you're talking about.
Yeah, different scenario. Maybe I'm thinking about Jared's friends.
There you go. Yeah.
Because then I was more like 5 or 6 more.
Yeah.
When Jared was that same age.
There we go.
Yep. And they were probably more like 17 and 16.
Yeah. And then so what about your generation with alcohol consumption? Do you think
I think we're a bunch of alcoholics. I mean, I don't really know. But I think so. I think people are drinking a lot. And they're vaping a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are people in your generation vape? I guess I should have looked that one up too.
Wait, so you vaped before?
Yeah, I have.
Do you like it?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't vaped since before I had Kalal.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't even think I was vaping much before then either because Jeremy's really against it.
Yeah.
And he would throw them away if he ever found them anywhere.
Nice.
So.
Do you...
I know I had a lot from before I was married, so like they've come up in different random spots at different points in time, and Jeremy's like, what is this doing here? It's not worth the fight.
Okay. So then post baby, do you see yourself drinking again?
Yeah.
And
vaping, no.
And if we were to have an intervention with you live on the podcast, what do you think we could say to really help you to realize the error of your way?
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever stop, Derek. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop. But yeah.
So what if I said, Aimee, I'm willing to go with you to Alcoholics Anonymous so we can get you the help that you need?
No thanks.
Hmm.
I think I have it under control.
Hmm. Okay, so then how would you? So then, whether you with your sons or with yourself, how would you know? Like, what would you gauge? In control, out of control. Naturally, you've shared a bunch of stories on the pod, whether it's driving problems. When I mean that, I mean more specifically talking about wrecking problems. How many accidents have you been in?
Oh, easily 5.
Okay, 5 accidents, and of those 5, how many were alcohol connected?
At least 2 or 3.
2 or 3, and then you have a knife situation, a knife stabbing situation. So
That was
alcohol.
sober.
That was sober. Okay, okay,
Yeah, it was in the morning, Derek.
okay.
Was
Yeah.
the night before? I probably was not, but this was in the morning.
So it could have been in your system.
Probably.
Okay. All right. So then back to, how do we know when it's gone too far, or for your kids? At what point would you schedule an intervention for your kids? Or would you want to because don't you think there has to be a point where, like, if somebody scheduled an intervention for you, like, oh, they actually care about me? Because like
Yeah.
like watching somebody head toward the cliff, like,
Yeah.
there's a point of like, oh, they don't really care about me. They just would let me drive toward the cliff.
Yeah.
But at what point would we know to?
Are you saying like for one event? Like if at one event I'm getting too far, when is that point? Or are you saying like in general, like how much drinking consistently would be too far?
Yeah, both.
Okay. For me personally, I think that if somebody is already at the point where they're like repeating themselves, like when they're intoxicated. So like, let's say one of my sons is intoxicated and he's like repeating himself. Obviously he's too far gone. He needs to go to sleep because he can't remember that he already told me that.
Right. But we're talking about intervention, but keep going.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like, if I'm saying for one specific moment in time, then that's when I'm calling it cap. But like I said, but if like if we're looking for like long term, when will I say the consistency of them drinking is too much? It's like after you're already, once you're past 25, or, if you're married. So either past 25 or if you're married and you're going out, you're still going out all the time, you're drinking all the time, and it's causing you to not go to work. Those 3 things I think would warrant me to intervention them.
All the time. You said drinking all the time. So what frequency?
So like every day. Every single day.
If it's every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's 1 drink a day.
I guess if it's 1 drink a day, like at night, glass of wine before you go to bed, that's different. But like if you're trying to get drunk every single day, you wake up in the morning and,
Yeah.
you have a michelada to get over the hangover from the night before. And then, middle of the day, you're taking shots. And then end of the day, you're drinking beer. Then definitely that's a problem. And if you're doing that kind of stuff every day, or at least, stuff like that, I think then that's definitely an issue. And especially if you have like a job where you can drink, that's a problem. Like, I think if I've met like alcoholics who do drink every day, who are, drinking every day or smoking weed and drinking every day, and then they still go to work. They're functioning alcoholics or functioning drinkers. But I feel like it's okay to kind of be like that, for a little bit if you want to,
Yeah.
For you just turned 21 or, you're partying a lot. I feel like, well, maybe not everybody goes through that phase, but I feel like, people go through that kind of phase sometimes. And if you can stop that, and reach a point where you don't drink as much, you only drink like, when you go out with your friends and stuff like that, or you go out for a night, then that's different.
Okay, so then what would you want to say at your intervention if we were intervening and saying, hey, like, your family members got together and said, hey, we've seen this and we want to help you to change your ways? Are you a doubter in the power of interventions?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Hmm.
It would probably make me want to have a drink. If
Yeah.
everybody's coming at me at the intervention, I'm leaving and I'm going straight to the bar.
What if we said, Aimee, we really care about you, and we've noticed.
Cringe. Immediate sipping.
Okay. When's your baby shower?
I had it. My baby shower was waiting on whether or not we knew when Shanice was going to be in town. So since Shanice lives in wherever Mississippi, that's the one. Since she lives in Mississippi, I didn't know if she was going to be home. I knew I would have liked to have done it in October, but she didn't come at all in October. So I know she's going to come for Thanksgiving. So I'm trying to figure out if she's going to leave on Sunday or if she's going to leave on Monday, because I would like to do it on that Sunday after Thanksgiving, but I might end up doing it Monday after Thanksgiving so that Shanice can be there for that event.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I know everybody else who's probably going to show up, which is like Mom, my sister, our sister, obviously, Krish, Shanice. Those are like the main four that I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
But also I would like my sister-in-laws to be there, Angelita and Jeanette. But, it's RSV season. I don't know how everybody's feeling about those kinds of things also. And I don't want too many people there. I was thinking my sister-in-laws, nieces, mom, maybe grandma. And then, maybe some other people if I'm feeling like it. But if by that time I already have Kylo and he's already born, then I might definitely just want it to be just those people. But like if Kylo's not here yet and, there's still time, then I might go ahead and invite my aunts and my cousins, and a bunch of other people too, but only women.
Yeah.
Men are only allowed to come if a child has to accompany the woman, and he's going to watch the child off to the side.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. I suppose we can go into our wrap. Do you have your story or parable ready? Or would you like me to go first while you scramble?
It's up to you. You could go first.
All right. Unless there's any other issue that if you feel worthy of bringing up, or shall we check in with the results once again?
Yes, let's check in one more time.
All right. And if you're watching, you can let us know what the results are from your side and what you're seeing. Holy moly, this one is crazy. On CNN, it says 154 Trump, 27 Harris.
I don't think that's accurate. The other ones are saying like 70.
$178 Trump, 113 Harris. I wonder, okay, let's say if you're an undecided voter, if you were on either side and you saw your team losing, would you go, hey, let me go out and vote? Like, let's say, so on Fox, it says 113 Harris, 178 Trump. If you were like, again, with
Are
Harris,
they going to be letting people vote until midnight tonight or what?
I have no idea how any of that works.
Me either.
If you're watching, you know that works. Let us know in the comment. But if now on the other side, if you were on Trump's side, and it was 178, you're winning. Would you go, oh, they don't need my vote. They're gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
No, I probably would be more undecided. Like, yes, go vote. If I saw that they were losing.
Okay. Wait, you would be more incentivized to vote if your team was losing as opposed to if your team was winning. So maybe CNN is making it seem like they're losing on purpose, so then they could try to do a comeback. Okay, all right. We're gonna do our closing story for our kid. I'm gonna go first. Amy's gonna scramble to find one.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
No, I'm probably just gonna tell a story of my baby boy.
All right, Corzin. So last night there was a thunderstorm, and I think it was the first time you actually heard the thunder, and the first time thunder actually woke you up, and which was special because I was holding you as you were frightened and woke up, and I was able to be there just to reassure you and let you know it's okay. We're right here. And then I reassured you. You went back to sleep. It's one of those special moments, and I want to encourage you to be that for other people in their lives. So people are going to go through incredible challenges in their lives, especially as you go through life. One of my mentors told me along the way that as you get to your mid 30s and upper 30s and even your 40s and beyond, so many of your friends who have been making like little small bad decisions along the way, a lot of it's going to catch up to them in their late 30s, the mid 30s, late 30s, and into their 40s and beyond. And I just want to encourage you to be there when that storm of life hits them, to reassure them, to be with them, to help them, to encourage them, and so that they know they can count on you. And ultimately, you want to help people to rely on God, because God's always there, even if we can't be. Anyway, it was a very special moment. I was glad to be there for you during your first thunderstorm, because in San Antonio it does not have too many thunderstorms throughout the year. So I love you, and I'll pass it to your aunt, Aimee.
Okay. So this past week, it was Halloween. So if you don't know by now, I am pretty crafty. So this year for Halloween, I decided that we were going to do Jurassic Park, and Kalal, that you were going to be a dinosaur. Kylo really couldn't do anything because obviously he's in my belly. But I made the cage that went around your wagon to look like Jurassic Park. I hemmed up your outfit that we bought you. I made little shoes for you. I did all the little things that I needed to do to get you ready for Halloween. And this is the first time we've done Halloween where you could actually walk and, talk a little bit. And it was really exciting for me. But as I was making all the little props for your costume and for, getting me and your dad our outfits and getting everything together, I was thinking that it's so hard sometimes for people to want to do those things when they feel like no one's going to appreciate it. So I do those things, and I decorate your stuff, and I make all the little cute outfits and do all the little craft stuff, because that's how I feel like I show that I love you and that I care about you. And a lot of times it really doesn't matter, like, if anybody else says something about it or if anybody else mentions it or talks about it, because I feel like that's how I personally feel like I love you. I feel like I love you when I'm doing these crafty things for you, when I'm being there for you, and I'm doing these things specifically for you. And I think that that's something that I love to have, even if you being as, you're only 15 months, 16 months old right now, like, you really can't understand that that's what I'm doing. You can't understand what's going on. But I enjoy that, being able to love you that way. And I think that if you have a way, or you feel a certain type of way about doing things for people and loving on people in a specific way, don't ever let anybody else make you not want to do that. Tell you, well, they're not even going to remember, that it's not even going to matter. If you stop and you give a homeless person food and you don't tell anybody about it, if it makes you feel good and it makes you feel like you're loving on humanity and you're being a loving person, then that's for you. And I feel it's the same way when I do things for you, that's how I show that I love you. So there you go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.